My name is Neil O'Boyle, and I'm delighted to be able to speak and share about something I'm passionate about with you, to you skaters, for just a few minutes. I absolutely love Christmas. I love everything about Christmas. I love it more than birthdays or any other festivals or anything else in the year. I just love Christmas because I love giving and receiving presents, and for me that is kind of what Christmas is all about. But let me tell you this, did you know 95% of all presents given and received are either too big, too small, not wanted, not needed. 95% too big, too small, not needed, not wanted. So that means it has a 5% success rate. That means 95% of all Christmas gifts given are a miss. And let me give you an example. My own wife, I had to go to maybe 4 or 5 years ago and say, would you mind if I bought my own Christmas presents? And she said yes. And on Christmas Day, when I took my present and I opened it, I loved it. It was fantastic. It was just what I wanted because I bought it. And that's the thing about Christmas. We can be disappointed, we can be ecstatic, it can be great, it can be bad, but sometimes it's just not how we planned it to be. And when I was 16 years of age, Christmas wasn't how I planned it to be. I'd absolutely messed up at school. I just got all the wrong grades. I'd been treating school like a playground. I was ranked number 3 in the country at martial arts. I had put the British champion in hospital with a signature move of mine. I drank like a fish, but life was not how I wanted it to be. I was searching for meaning, and I was asking the question that we all ask, which is this: who am I and do I matter? And I didn't have a good answer for that. And on New Year's Eve, at the age of 16, the authorities came to my house and they said, you are a danger to yourself and you are a danger to society, and we're taking you away. And they did. They took me away, and for 3-4 weeks I was in this place I didn't want to be. And when I left that place, I was even worse off than when I went in there in the first place. And life went downhill, and it went downhill quickly. And I became suicidal, and I became depressed, and I became anxious, and I just wanted to give up on life. And there was this weirdo who kept coming to my house and he kept bugging me. And he said, I want to see you. And I didn't want to see him. And my parents were so fed up with the fact that he kept coming to my house that they said, listen, you've got to see him. So I agreed to see him. And I said, this is the deal. I'll see you once and once only. And after that, we're never going to talk again. And he said, okay. And so we agreed. We went out. I thought we were going to go to McDonald's. We end up in the back of a church hall, and it's full of about 250, 300 young people. There's a band at the front. I don't know what I'm at. Suddenly the band strikes up, but they're playing Christian music. It's so weird. I want to leave, and I'm about to leave, and everyone sits down, and I'm the only one standing. So I sit down, and someone gets up and starts to preach. And I didn't listen to a word they said because they were so unbelievably boring. But I caught the last line, which was this: if there's anyone here tonight who doesn't know God or Jesus as their Lord and Savior, then they can do so. And that was total mumbo jumbo. There was nothing about that made any sense at all. Know Jesus, Lord and Savior. What does that mean? But I knew somehow it was a prayer. And so I prayed and I said to God, God, if you really exist, you can take my stupid, pathetic life. Because if you don't, I will. And I pressed the send button. And I had an instant reply. Whoever had heard what I just said replied instantly, and I knew I was encountering God in a very, very powerful way right there, right then. And the reason for that is that Jesus said, I've come to heal the brokenhearted. I've come to set the captives free. I've come to release the oppressed. I've come in order that you might have life in all its fullness. I have created you for a certain way and a certain being, and I'm going to give you exactly what you need. And in that moment, I was receiving all of it. And 30 years later, on a day-to-day basis, Jesus is still having that impact on my life because he created me to know him. And I'm never at peace unless I have him living in me. And Christmas, when we give gifts this year, and I'm sure you're going to give, I'm sure you're going to receive, I've got to tell you that the very best gifts, the 5% that work for you, they still won't change your life. But Jesus can. And he will, because he created you to know him. And so my thought for you this Christmas is reflect on that and give him an opportunity to give you the very best gift. Because he came into this world for you, and that was his gift, that you could have life and meaning and purpose. and to answer those two questions of who are you and do you matter? You are created by God and you are deeply loved by him. Have a great Christmas.